So we're live and direct to you at this moment. Today is June 12th, 2022. And this is our own democracy broadcast. I heard that the president of Nigeria yesterday had today had a democracy broadcast. But our own is special because we witnessed democracy, we fought for democracy, and by next year, 2023, the struggle for democracy that started particularly in 1993 would have reached 30 years. And I'm here to tell you that and testify to that I was part of that movement from the beginning of time till now. So we're here to just say to you that you're welcome to Democracy Day broadcast. This is going to be something that you find regularly from me as we commence the struggle for the liberation of Nigeria, democratically speaking. I will be talking to you, and this is the beginning of what is known, a lot of people who are watching us know what we call the couch, so that we used mostly as a means of reaching hundreds, thousands, and millions of people in 2019 when I engaged in the election at that time. So we will be discussing democracy as a concept in Nigeria in particular. And I must tell you that the reason I couldn't tell people, wish them happy Democracy Day today is that this is not the democracy we fought for. This is not democracy we fought for. The democracy you have now has become the type that I refer to as a morontocracy. The morons in our political system have hijacked our democracy. But we've been rallying young people, old people, all Nigerians in the last 4 years, maybe since 2018, which is 4 years ago, to understand that democracy that we fought for cannot benefit us until we take it away from those who ought not to be near the democratic space in the country. I was a student union leader, just to tell you a little bit of my story. In 1993, I had been expelled for participating in 1992 in a protest known as Babangida Must Go. And when we were expelled, it was because we organized a protest at the level of National Association of Nigerian Students, NAS. By the time that protest was over, which was called Babangida Must Go, they came after all of us. And I was expelled for the first time from the University of Lagos. I was ending my first year in the university as a freshman when I was expelled. And after that, they organized election. We pressured them to organize a June 12th election. And after that election was organized, of course, they came back strongly and annulled the election. You know what is sad? It's the same people who annulled the election, their friends, their cronies, are the same people who are now benefiting from the democratic war that we fought in our time. And some other ones are those who were hiding under their beds, who did not participate in the struggle for democracy. They are the ones benefiting from it today. Because when people ask this question of us, why do you think you should be voted for in an election? Was it because we fought? Yes and no. When we first fought for democracy and they were bringing elections in 1999, I left Nigeria. I traveled abroad so that I could do some other things with my life. But it happened that it was the first mistake we made, to be honest. It was the first mistake we made as activists, that we fought for democracy and left it for people who didn't fight for it to manage. And this is what they've done to Nigeria's democracy. Mismanaged the whole place, mismanaged the whole country. And now we are called upon when the country is in a mess to come and clean up the mess after them. You recognize, those of you who are activists, people talk down on you. They say, activists are not supposed to be near governors. But when the traditional politicians mess up the whole place, they call you to come and fight. There are people who still call on Wole Soyinka today to come and lead protests for them, even when they themselves are hiding at home, just having fun, or they're in the club. They always want you to fight for them, but they don't want to fight for you and they don't want to fight for themselves. So we are going to resume this kind of conversations and make sure we discuss adequately and sufficiently how to retrieve our democracy from these bad operators of our democratic space, and to expand our democracy so that everybody and anybody for that matter can be elected into office. Whether, it shouldn't be that you have democracy and the only people who benefit from your democracy are the money bags. They are the ones who earn maximum wage. They are the ones who are able to send their children to good schools, both at home and abroad. They are the ones who can employ or be employed. They are the ones who can get good health care, including leaving the country to go to hospital, even when they have a common cold. They are the ones who can eat very well. They are the ones who can travel. They are the ones who can go on vacation and their families. But the rest of you who are toiling daily, are left out of all the great things that you should enjoy and you deserve. So I'm just saying this so that you can understand the reason why we are in this process again, why we are calling on you not to allow people who don't understand anything about your rights, about their responsibility to manage your life, and don't let them overwhelm you, because I've been seeing people who said they're feeling overwhelmed these days. They just feel like they're coming at them. The thing is that it's your right to not allow anybody to overwhelm you. It's your right to decide who you want to vote for. They don't like that. They don't want you to be able to decide who you should vote for. But we are here to keep you company in making these decisions and ensuring that you stick with and stick by your decision. And part of the reasons we also do this is because you know that the mainstream media in Nigeria, this is the truth, would never give us adequate opportunity and privilege to discuss ideas. Right now, we have not even started campaigning yet. To get any TV station to invite you now is like, Bola Tinubu passing a thread through the eye of a needle. Very difficult. That's a joke, but you know the truth. So they do not respect that you deserve the same rights as these criminal politicians to get aired or heard on TV. So what they do most of the time is just, they don't invite us. When they do, sometimes they can be very condescending. They ask you questions, and when you answer them, they say they are not satisfied. Meanwhile, they are not inviting or asking questions of people like Tinubu or Atiku or even Peter Obi, whomever, because right now there are only 18 presidential candidates, because there are only 18 parties left. But you know very well that if they are afraid of anybody in this election, and any election for that matter, it is us that they are afraid of. They hate the idea that we are out there challenging their failures, challenging their inadequacies, and making sure that we're sharing ideas with people that they are comfortable with. Our ideas about security, nobody can challenge it. Our ideas about how to build infrastructure in the country, the power sector, how to create employment, how to invest in the educational system to such a way that the kind of things you are facing now with ASU will be a thing of the past. And I'm not just making promises. I've said it, one of my most difficult situation in the course of this election campaign is that I just don't know how to lie. And politicians know how to lie and don't be held responsible. So this is where we are. But this is the commencement of a series of conversations that you'll be seeing, and we're going to make it open and take questions, hear from you, your ideas concerning this process that we have engaged in, and making sure that you are not cheated out of the distribution of information that will be happening massively from today. But we chose today as the beginning of the commencement of conversation, actually, because this is going to become the order of the day going forward. That is, we're going to start being on the couch, And so we also do and will use this to raise funds for our campaign because we don't have any money bags behind us, and we don't want to pretend that they would ever or will ever be with us. So we are going to remain with the people. But you know what is interesting about these people? All these ideas that they now use, they took from us. I remember they used to mock us when we started raising funds online, what we call crowdfunding. But now, they are using it. Every politician is trying to crowdfund, get money from the public, the 1,000 naira contributors, $100. We started it in 2019, 2018, it became successful. They're doing it. Later, they claim that, we did not, report an audited account. We did, which was a lie. And when they couldn't find anything else to say, they started talking about, we don't have experience. We showed to them that we have more than enough experience to govern Nigeria. They have moved away from that now, and they have started another sing-song. I can count so many things they used to say, including the fact that when we were doing revolutionary protests, we want to overthrow the government, it's not democratic. But the courts have declared that revolutionary protests are legitimate. There's several declarations now that the government had no right to prevent us from engaging in lawful protest, and that's what the courts have found. So the latest they are doing, which is a strategy, don't be confused with it, is this idea of harassment, harangue you, say, you must join this candidate, you must join this candidate, join this candidate. The truth is that there is no candidate to join. We have demonstrated over the years that we're way advanced, more prepared, and we are with history, verifiable history of democratic practice, verifiable history of courage, and we have today as a witness as to how much and how far we have done to make this country what it is today. Some of the candidates that you're hearing about, their only claim to fame is that they jump from one place to the other, and it's usually when something is prepared, they'll go and benefit from it, and then when there's nothing left there, they go to another place. We have always been in one place only where you can find me. Even when they tried to hijack our party in 2019, we did not join another party. We stood there, we fought for our party until our party was restored to us recently. And we went straight into election because we are always prepared and had elections that presented myself as the leader, as a candidate of the party. So even people like El-Rufai was on Twitter a few days ago, and he was claiming that, Sowore is going to get 30,000 votes. I see that as honorable mention. Because they are bothered in their heads that, oh my God, Sowore is in this race and is going to challenge us again. But in an attempt to discourage people, they said, maybe he will get 30,000 votes. Well, I'm glad that you know that I'll get votes. But this time around, it will shock you. El-Rufai, we're going to shock you this time around. And when I responded to him, he did say that we shall compare notes. And I said to El-Rufai, I won't be comparing notes with you because your regime is about to be thrown into the dustbin of history. So please, we're here to just let you know that the couch, our show on the couch has started, and we'll be doing it and doing a lot of it. I want to greet all of you who have joined us this day, who are going to be with us most of the time. I think the clarification is needed once again that there is no reason for any one of you to be distracted. It's also honorable that there are 18 political parties in the country, and even those who are asking us to join them, they are honest enough to know that we have integrity. If we didn't have integrity, we wouldn't be asking for us to join them. they are honest enough to know that we have legit support on the ground, and that you just never get away with us in a new dispensation. But beyond that, it is just distraction. And I want to really appeal to those of you who are veterans in this game. You know that in 2019, we had to deal with the same set of distractions. It said, go and join the youth should come together. When we went to the youth meeting, they had planned it. When we bailed out of it, it was like, oh my goodness, Sowore was difficult. They should have joined Mogalu, Drotoye, and all that. We said, no, we've seen way beyond this. Today, with due respect to those young people, candidates, they are no longer, they are nowhere to be found. I'm not mocking them, but our still being around, it's a testimony to our resilience, and I want to really, really thank and praise those of you who have stayed the course. This period, you are going to be confronted with a lot of hype, packaging. You're going to be harassed. Sometimes you're going to be emotionally blackmailed. It's all political strategies that people use to harass their own people. I mean, people who don't agree with them. Please don't fall for it. Stay and stand where you are. You know what we've been through in the last 3 years. When I was arrested and detained, some people said I would never make it out of detention until the Buhari regime is gone. I'm sitting in front of you. Some people said I would never recover our political party, the African Action Congress. We have our political party back. Some people said Sowore would never be allowed to run for president again. They have no control over it as long as we are in control of our destiny. Right, I'm sitting right in front of you as one of the possible, I'm already a candidate, 18 presidential candidates in Nigeria, a country of 200 million people. Out of the 18, we get mentioned every time, even though we have not raised billions of naira, we've not stolen state resources and all that. We have been lucky enough to be able to resolve all these problems that people thought would never happen. So, guys, just don't worry again. Like I said, we are testing out our platforms today. I'm reaching you. We are on Facebook. We are live on Instagram. We're also live on Twitter, reaching out to everybody and talking to you about today's broadcast. June 12th is the day of democracy. But guess what? This day wasn't the choice of the political elites in Nigeria. Their democracy day was May 29. It was in 2018 in Abeokuta during a rally. It was there that I made a declaration that when I become president, June 12th will become Democracy Day. One week after, they ran and put together a program and declared June 12th Democracy Day. This was not their initial Democracy Day. This was not their plan. But this is our Democracy Day. And what that should teach anybody is that whenever we set our minds to do anything, we can get it done. And what I want us to set our minds to do in this new dispensation is that we can defeat all the fake and corrupt politicians who will come to you with no ideas, but they want to overwhelm you with fluff. Let's challenge them. Even if we are the only people standing or sitting, we must challenge that idea and defeat it. It's the same way we challenge the fake Buhari popularity, the fact that he has support of the people or Nigerians. We are the few people in this country that challenge it. It was the fact that we challenged him that led other young people to pick up the courage to do what they did during NSAS. You know that, right? So we are still here doing what we know how to do best. We will be talking about programs as we engage more frequently in this broadcast, which we know as the couch. It's coming back for those of you. And we'll be raising funds, and we'll be transparently announcing these fundraisers, and we will be challenging the system to ensure that people get their PVCs, that's the voters' cards that we all need to defeat the behemoth. And we will be discussing, taking questions and answering questions as we go along. So if you have any questions for me as we're going about this broadcast today, please do feel free to send a DM. If I don't answer you immediately, you'll get an answer later. We also want to call for volunteers at the ward level, towns, villages, and cities. Or if you have a vehicle you want to brand as, I will send you the brand we use. If you have a house that you want to brand as a party secretariat to have conversations, we'll give you permission to send us a DM. If you want to have like local meeting points to discuss how the campaign should be progressing, please do reach out to us. And I also want to implore you to get very, very strong on social media as well. In 2019, we did it. We were able to hold Facebook in particular strongly, and we then moved to Twitter. We need to be on Twitter now, where of course you know we're there, but supporting and amplifying these ideas. We also need to be on Facebook here, where we're no strangers, to be on Instagram, where we are no strangers. We just need more people to keep pushing these ideas. And then we also need to be on TikTok. TikTok has become very, very powerful platform. So these are basically things I wanted to share with you today. I want to just say to you that this is going to be an interesting season. Very, very interesting season. We're going to challenge them like they've never seen before. You remember that in 2019, when we came on board, we were immediately written off. You know, they said, who is Sowore? They kept saying in those days, then I told you it was a trick. They would say, oh, you know, Sowore, we don't know Sowore. I asked my father, he said, I didn't know Sowore. I know my mother, I asked my mother, he said, I didn't know Sowore. So who is this Sowore? Everybody saying they don't know you. Well, it was a lie. It was perfect strategy by APC and PDP then to demarcate our system. But now in 2022, that's a year or 8 months to the election, they are no longer able to say that they don't know us. It's no longer a lie that you can tell. They've now shifted from that to, oh, we know Sowore is a good person, but we just think he should step down for our candidate. Some of them, not all the candidates. Some of the old candidates, they're not, well, all of them old, they're not asked us those questions. But when we ask them, who is your candidate? Most of the time, they're not able to tell you what their candidate is all about. When I say who's your candidate, I'm not asking the name of the candidate. I'm asking, what does your candidate represent? Was your candidate a governor before, a senator, or a president or vice president? And while they were in office, do you know what they did? Then very quickly, they turn it into a fight. Why are you asking? Shut up. We must ask questions. You must give us explanations. You must tell us where you were on June 12th, 1993, when this country needed fighters for democracy. You cannot just go and hide and come out when we have fought the battle and won the battle and claim that you have something to offer. We are not extending to you the fact that we have a sense of entitlement that because we were student leaders or we fought for them. We're just saying that at every junction of history for countries, men and women stand up for what is right. They stand up and fight, and we can ask those questions. But beyond that, we can ask in your own chosen area of career, what have you done? We say you are a governor before in Lagos. You turn Lagos to the extension of the Atlantic Ocean, right? Lagos became the dirtiest city in the world. You are collecting taxes from everybody in Lagos. You are not accountable to anybody. You have no job, but you have wealth. We want them to explain it. You are vice president before. What was the GDP like when you were vice president? And apart from the statistics, how many people got employed in your country when you were vice president? How many kilometers of road did you build? How many hospitals did you build for the 8 years you were vice president? How many companies, factories did you build? How was electricity during your time? Were there ASU strikes? Were there elections? Were they free and fair? If your question is, I don't know, then you are in trouble. You said you were a governor of Anambra State. When you were governor, did you build any schools, universities that your children could attend? If the question is no, why are you lying? Did you build any hospitals in that state that you can go for treatment if you fall sick? If it is no, why are you lying? Did you do any quality roads? If it's no, why are you lying? And I must be very clear to those of you who are watching. That's why I'm taking my time to speak slowly. I am not here to do ethnic politics. I'm not here to do religious politics. I'm here for the liberation of the Nigerian people. Liberation of the Nigerian people to such an extent that we'll put behind us the despicable, disappointing, and wicked leadership that has been our lot since the advent of democracy, in particular from 1999 and beyond. So I'm rallying all of you together. Don't be afraid. I'm here. I'm going to be here with you, and I'm going to be available in rallies across the country like we did in 2019, where we traveled to 34 states of the Federation. I'm free to travel around Nigeria now, but I'm still not free to travel outside of the country. Otherwise, I would have combined visiting states, cities, towns, and villages with traveling also to the diaspora, where we have a reasonable number of persons to talk about what I have for you. But if you are looking for where to find information, I think we are the first to have a website where you can find quick information and join the movement. And our website is Sowore2023.org. It's live. You can go there, see what our plans are for the country. You can go there to join the movement. You can go there to make contributions and donations to the platform. That's very important for you to know. And you can also join us here. We have lots of people who also have joined us on Telegram. A lot of them have joined us on Instagram. Quite a lot of people are part and parcel of our networks on WhatsApp. And if you are here also, if I cannot be my friend, you can also always follow me here on Facebook. And there are a number of groups here on Facebook. I think probably we have the highest number of groups on Facebook, and where you can join and continue to propagate these ideas. So these are some of the most important questions that needs to be answered for those who have been asking questions about recently. But I just want you, and I really mean it, for those of you who have been followers over these years, that we'll be constantly communicating with you about the progress of the campaign and how you can help and how we can help to answer some of your questions. In fact, the reason that we started the couch today is because it's June 12th, 2022, some 29 years since we reached a particular nada regarding the struggle for democracy in Nigeria, and I was very much part of it. So, and I want to keep being in touch with all of you, and I will reply to as many questions as possible on days like this, and help those of you who might have questions that people are asking you to answer them to the best of my ability, and exchange ideas, hear from you some of the questions that we can answer also with your help, because most of you are on the field and we can't be everywhere. So those are things we want to say today, and we will continue to push on our platforms and to reach you, and nothing to be hidden as we commence this next phase of the democratic struggle. So you are all welcome once again. Let us thank you very much. I know that our team might have some questions that have come in. Is there any questions at this point? Except maybe questions that I can see some questions on. I've seen some questions on. I think there's some questions. If you have questions on Instagram, you can ask. It's question time. I don't think the Facebook part is moving. The questions are a little bit fine. Okay. Yes, I have questions. Yes. Please, can't you work with OB? People will move this country forward. No, that's one of the questions I get frequently. I see it as a honorable thing that you even consider that we have integrity such that you feel like I'm the only person that should work with your candidate, because I'm sure nobody goes to Atiku's website and asks him if he could work with Peter Obi. No. But not also forget, just as you're asking me to work with Peter Obi, Atiku is also asking Obi, who is his leader, to come back to PDP. So at the point, if he goes back to his PDP, I imagine what you have to go through. So I'm begging you, please help us with verifiable links to structures. We have structures, and you know that and I want to be specific now. In 2019, so that you understand structures very well, when we started running, they were asking me for structures. Particularly all the PDP people, they would come here and troll me. You have no structures. And I used to tell them that our structures are the people. The oppressed are our structures. The disenfranchised are our structures. The hungry are our structures. They said, no, you can never win. You don't have structures. In 2022, the structures they said we don't have. In fact, they are using our slogans. One of the slogans that the OB people are using is take it back. But they hacked it to say take back Nigeria. Take back Nigeria. That was our slogan in 2019. It's still part of our slogan till today. But we've moved on dynamically and added we cannot continue like this as our main front slogan. Now, they have agreed that our structures are the organic structures. So they are saying also that the people are the structure. This is what we've been saying, right? The people are the structure. But what was the reason why they were in PDP 4 weeks ago or maybe a month ago? It was the same fallacy that PDP is the only party that can defeat the APC because they have structures. If you remember, what do I used to call those structures? I call them transactional structures. Now you know, because the reason Obi left PDP was because they outplayed him with transactional politicking. And who did outplay him? He confessed to it. Wike went to Anambra and bought Anambra PDP delegates. So it was obvious to Obi that he would not, maybe Obi would have had one vote, a little bit above Dele Momodu. I don't know. But he was obvious that he was going to lose and lose terribly. Then next day he moved to Labour Party. Where is the structure of Labour Party? You should ask yourself. Do you know of any Labour Party structures? You are just building them now. The AAC structures have been built since 2018 and continue to be built all over the country. When we called for a protest, revolutionary protest in 2019, there were over 26 states that carried out this protest. If 26 states across the federation can engage in a protest that will take their life, what is politics? In 2019, the Labour Party presidential candidate got 5,000 votes. I was allocated 33,000 votes. So even if you want to look at structures, a structure that delivered 33,000 votes is probably better and bigger than that of 5,000 votes. But I don't want to glorify the election results of 2019 because that was not an election. And I can't be saying here that I'm proud of an election that did not happen. So let's say, and say for the sake of this country, that the Labour Party and the Peter Obi people should come and join us. We are the ones who know how to stand up for you when police is killing you. We are the ones who go to protest for you when Shiites are killed by the Buhari regime. We are the ones who go to court when Nnamdi Kanu is maltreated, tortured, abducted. We are the ones who fight for you when they steal your palliatives. We are the ones who lead struggles of all kinds in this country. We are the ones who fight for people who are unjustly detained. We fight every battle. This is a period you need a fighter. You don't need somebody who knows how to hide and then come out when there is something to chop, right? So you need a fighter, and that fighter, you know who the person is. You know what we need. Don't get carried away by celebrities. I don't have problem with celebrities, but I also know that celebrities do what they have to do because it favors them. If celebrities support me, I will appreciate it. I will not discard it. But if they don't support me, I don't feel useless because a celebrity doesn't support me. No. Because all of us are celebrities in our own rights, to be honest. If a celebrity is a celebrity, it's because we are following them and supporting them. So focus on our election in 2023. I am very happy that we're on our way to defeating the old order. I was saying this in 2018 and 2019, that after we participate in 2019 election, the election system will never be the same again. It came to pass. Since we've been participating in Nigerian election, politicians have not rested. They have not rested. The government of Buhari has not rested since AAC was formed. Because AAC has been part of every headache they have had. I have been part of every headache they had. That's why they went after our party and hijacked the party. And we fought them until we got our party back. We are a fighting party and we are not apologetic about it, ladies and gentlemen. But most importantly, it is not just about fighting. It's about intellect. We have demonstrated beyond any reasonable doubt, either in debates, in circulation of ideas, that we have a solution to the problem of this country. And we have demonstrated how easy it is to fix the problem of security, the problem of power, energy, and also energy transition, because some of the ideas we are seeing out there, they are outdated. We have discussed how to fund and work towards a living wage for workers. That is why I'm telling you that the Labour Party, this Labour Party we are talking about, is no longer a workers' party. It is a party that 3 months before Peter Obi joined them, I addressed them at a political commission and said that the Labour Party had become an orphanage for politicians that are homeless. You can check this out online. You will see what I said about the Labour Party. It didn't take long before our man ran there when he became homeless. The Labour Party should not have in its company somebody who managed 13 months of strike, workers' strike in Anambra State. The Labour Party knew this. They were workers who suffered the consequences of this kind of leadership. But the Labour Party today is what it is. I am not here to waste my time on them because Labour Party is not our problem. PDP, it's not our problem alone. PDP, APC, and the appendages are the people we are out to oust. That's it. That's the point. So don't waste too much of your time discussing irrelevance. Let's work on how to save our country, Nigeria, because that is my focus. This has been my focus since I was in my late teenage years. When I entered the University of Lagos, I was 18 years old. When I left, I was about 24 years old. And when I left Nigeria in 1999, I was 28 years old. When I traveled to the US and started Sahara Reporters, I was about 34 or 35 years old. Today, I'm 51 years old. By the time we will have the next election, I'll be 52 years old or thereabout. So think about the June 12th struggle this way. When you saw me with Abiola in that video that I posted today, I was 22 years old. When I will be sworn in as the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, I will be 52 years old. Look at these figures. 1993 and 2023. Magical dates. And you all have a date with history. And please, don't lose it. Don't let anybody confuse you. Don't anybody distract you. Let's focus on how to take our country back. I have no doubt that it's the best time to do it, and we are going to make it happen. I am glad once again that they now know, because that memo was not very clear to them in 2019. But they now know that the hurricane is on the way. In 2019, El-Rufai did not mention my name, even though I was contesting against his godfather, Buhari. But this is 2022. He's now a little bit worried, and that's going to escalate very soon. They're going to run out of town one by one when this campaign becomes a mass movement that it has always been, but it's bigger now. So we've just started, guys. Don't worry, don't be overwhelmed. We still have 8 solid months to go. And it's going to be months and months of discussing ideas and pushing them to you and having you feed us back and you going out there to know what to do. And I will be regularly briefing you. You know that you are not likely to hear from the other parties. And don't let anybody deceive you that we cannot have any conversation about anybody. This is political season. We have to discuss every issue involved with leadership. Not let anybody force you to think that, oh, we cannot mention the name of my candidate. No, we will mention everybody's name. It's the same way you mention my name. We have to mention your candidate's name, but you must be prepared to tell us what your candidate has to offer based on their history. That is the only thing we are asking for. The rest is fine. Just the abuse, the harassment, that one we are used to. Police beating, harassment. You saw my nose here broken, my tie shot at. So there's nothing I haven't been through, so I can't be worried about those things. But I want to really, really thank you guys for coming, and we want to use this opportunity to ask again, because we are not money bags. I don't have a $20 million sitting down in an account in London. I have not worked for years. That we will be asking you for support. In 2019, we tried it and it worked, and others have borrowed the idea from us. And we will also be making it transparently clear how we receive money and how we're spending money. On that basis, we now have decided to be doing monthly explanations of audited accounts to you. We've done the first month, and the second month will be coming up very soon. We have been a little bit busy after we won the party primaries, just putting our party structures back in place. We have real party structures, and if you haven't joined the party, please, this is the time to join the AAC. So you go to AacParty.org and you see a membership form there pop up. Just join it. Join this party. Let me tell you something today that's it might be a big surprise to you. INEC invited all the political parties to submit their membership at APC. APC doesn't have a membership register. They said to us, PDP has been looking for their membership register for 2 weeks. They are going from state to state, collecting and forging numbers. They are very good at forgery. We are the only party that presented to them a digital format of our membership form. They were shocked. And they said, how did you collect this? We collected them online. And we imputed those who applied or who joined offline. And that is still happening. Please join AAC Party by going to AacParty.org. There are fake AAC websites. Please check very well. Ours is AacParty.org. And our Twitter account is AacParty. All these places are going to be active. And I will be active with you as well. I tweet a lot. Some of you know me. I tweet about things, anything that are relevant to political progress and development. Our duty is to return this country to peace, progress, and prosperity, and not be apologetic about it. Don't come in 2022 to ask us how you're going to get money to pay minimum wage of 100,000, because the accountant general was just found with 160 billion. The accountant general of Rivers was found to have stolen over 400 billion. Our budget for 100,000 minimum wage, as at that time, was about maybe 1.2 trillion annually. That is less than what 5 account generals can steal in Nigeria in a year. So, or a state accountant general. We have the money. Our problem is not all the time revenue generation. It is equitable distribution of resources. And that's why you see they're afraid of us. That's why they always send all these fake economists to come and say, what Sowore is saying is it's going to cause inflation. It's going to cause inflation. Why is it that the accountant general who stole 160 billion, that's the one they are traced to him, did not cause inflation? Ask yourself, why is it that the minimum wage of senators, which is 14 million naira per month, not cause inflation? How about the money all the governors are stealing? Why are they not causing inflation? There was a governor that, what about the central bank governor who contested and spent over, trillions. They say he brought in 3 private jets for an election that did not happen. Governor of Rivers State, Wike, spent 30 billion naira just for a few days that their primaries took place. Nobody knows how much Tinubu spent. That one, they say he bribed each state governor that voted for him $2 million. Each of the delegates that came here that voted for him got over $50,000. Where do they get this money? And workers cannot be paid. People who don't even have, cocoyam farms. So they keep lying to you that you don't deserve to benefit from the wealth of your country. And they use statistics to deceive you. But we want to tell you that that period has come where you can get the best that you deserve in your country. And if you doubted me in 2019, I don't think you can doubt me now. You can't, because you know that since 2019, we have been standing firm, me and my colleagues. We have been challenging the government, and there's nothing they have not tried, and there's nothing we haven't tried. Common toothpick we don't have, but nobody has fought for you as much as we have in the last 3 years. We're fighting for you when we are not in office. Imagine what we do for you when we are voted into office. You can imagine that. So that is why I'm here today, to do this broadcast to you. For you. I am also on a regular basis doing, I think on weekends, I do an Facebook audio broadcast. It's just audio only. And those of you who have been joining regularly, I want to thank you. We get in an average of 200 dedicated people who ask questions, who speak. We want you to be joining all of these conversations. Don't let anybody deceive you. We are going to have conversations that will determine the future of Nigeria. Nobody can scare anybody away from it. It's your country. Don't be scared. Don't let celebrities scare you. Celebrities are normal human beings like you. No need for you to get celebrities scaring you. Celebrities will come and go. Nigeria will remain. Yeah? It's your future. It's your country. But if there are celebrities who are conscious and, very, who have conscience and are conscious, we welcome them. We welcome them. But nothing should be done based on lies or, PR packaging and harassment or haranguing of citizens. So, but we'll get more of that this year. In fact, somebody was telling me today that they feel that I get arrested again because of the way I've been speaking. But I'm ready for that. I have a bag packed inside somewhere here that I carry with me. That has a toothbrush in it, some soaps in it, and some medicine in case I go away. Change of clothes. I'm always ready. Always ready. So, you have another question for me there? I'm just going to answer some questions randomly. We'll organize this better so that we can get your questions on time. Somebody was asking, since you said you'll be pushing for a new constitution, can you also address how exactly does changing constitution work? Is it really possible? Can you do it? Please answer. Yes. The constitution that we have now is a fraudulent constitution. It was imposed on the Nigerian people in 1999 by the military. But there's a process, a legitimate process for making a constitution. But before I give you how that is or that will happen, by way of my own understanding, is that a constitution like ours should not be in place in the first place. It was not a constitution. The preamble of every constitution says, we the people. If you ask me or your father or anybody who was around in 1999, did you partake in creating a constitution? No, we didn't partake. So we the people did not partake in that. The second aspect of it that I've used as an example frequently is South Africa. South Africa was like Nigeria before 1994. It had an apartheid regime. And when apartheid collapsed, South Africa did not amend its constitution because it was not amendable and could not be amended to accommodate the wishes and the aspiration of a new South Africa. So they went all out, put in an interim constitution, and then came together And we've tried this several times, but our leaders are just not honest. Had a constituent assembly that came together to make a new constitution. And the constitution was then sent out to the people in a referendum. A referendum is an election that says yes or no. And then after it passes through a referendum, it is then adopted as the constitution of the federation. The 1999 constitution, that fraudulent document, did not pass through any of these processes. So we need a brand new constitution, and we're going to make it happen. It's going to be one of my priorities, major priorities, when I come into office in 2023. My priorities include diaspora voting, a new constitution, employment, massive employment for young people, free education at all levels. And I can tell you, when we keep talking how we can find the money to do this, we are going to generate revenue more than we're doing now. Oil will still be there. There's gas. Our tax to GDP ratio is the lowest in Africa. We would increase that. We're not introducing new taxes, right? We are doing what these people don't do. We're going to collect the taxes that we are owed. Oil companies in Nigeria are owing over 100 billion in unpaid taxes. I will collect those taxes and invest in education, health, infrastructure, the power sector, and security. I'll collect the taxes. I don't care whether you are closing down and leaving. Pay us our taxes. I lived abroad for 20 years. You cannot owe taxes and just walk away as an individual. Talk less of owing an entire country huge amount of taxes and you don't pay it, or you are declaring profit to your investors, or dividends, and you leave the original source of your wealth in a mess. So we'll make sure that taxes are collected. We will improve the agricultural sector and ensure that we are putting out exports. Instead, we have enough to consume first, and we're putting out exports so that we have non-oil exports. But we must do first and foremost improve our security, have modern farming techniques put in place. These things will work like magic, especially if you can fix electricity. You can then go back into the production system. It's not difficult. Now we're talking policy, and you know that the macroeconomic policies depend on those in government, while the micro is subject to the vagaries of weather and climate in your country. So just ensure that you vote the right people. We will put things right, and you start seeing the results immediately. And that is why we said last week when we were having our convention, there was a funny thing we put out there, that the other parties have elected their thieves. We are electing our own sheriff. Because part of our problem is that corruption is so endemic, as I described with the accountant general today, that even when you are generating revenues, it is as if you are pouring water into baskets. We will make sure that that is no longer happening, because monies that are not stolen will be readily invested in the development on the country. So that's our take for today. We wanted to do this for an hour. We've been rusty over these years because we haven't been communicating directly with you. But we're back, bigger and stronger. And guess what? They know it, that they're in trouble. But for us, it's good trouble. And that is one which we give our people a fresh lease of life. Once again, I want to say, happy Democracy Day, just for the sake of saying it. But this is not the democracy that we fought for when I was a student leader. This is crazy democracy. But we want to also bring about real, genuine democracy that addresses progress in our land. I want to thank you once again, as we say, Luta continua, Victoria Asata. Revolution now. We can't continue like this. Thank you, guys.